start with a phase shifter first. In a phase shifter, what happens? A ferrite rod is present in a phase shifter. A ferrite rod is present. So means if you see that, if you draw a rectangular waveguide, this is about our rectangular waveguide. Okay, this is about our rectangular waveguide. In this rectangular waveguide, what happens? There is a ferrite rod present, and that ferrite rod is likewise. Okay, this is about your ferrite rod. Now, when your signal propagating through this, okay, this is about nothing but your signal propagation, or you can say that the about a field, or you can say that electrical field component or vector. When it is propagating through this ferrite rod, what happens? It changes in the position. Okay, ferrite rod. Now, according to that, whatever the DC bias applied to this particular ferrite rod, but the position of that field will changes. So either we'll get that output at this particular place, it will not be the same here. There may be a change in your phase of your system. Okay, means either it can be what we can say that is about in that direction or that direction. Likewise, in any of the direction, it will change. You can say that your signal, when you propagate any signal through the rectangular waveguide, because of the property of a ferrite rod. Okay, ferrite rod property means what? When we apply the DC bias to this ferrite rod, so ferrite rod will rotate your field. Why it rotates? Because of that electrons present in the whatever the ferrite rod there. So your bias, okay, because of applied bias, magnetic field change. DC magnetic field is there. And due to that DC magnetic field, whatever the your signal propagating through that particular ferrite rod, it changes its polarization. Either it will be what? Okay, left circular polarized wave or right hand circular polarized. So we'll get that a change in a polarization there because of that ferrite rod. We can say that, that's why we can say that this is nothing but, we will say that it is nothing but a phase shifter there. So that is about your ferrite rod. Now next about your bend. Okay, so there are the various bends available. So that bend is depending upon that whatever the field component, okay, looking for, and according to that bends will be occurring. So now suppose I am saying that your electric field component, okay, you can say that E band or H band, okay. So based on that, whatever the field component will bend through this guide there. Suppose I'm going to draw waveguide, okay. Now need to see that, so you get the idea clearly. Okay. In that case, what happens? Your magnetic field component bends here. Okay, this way. And we can say that if you consider that, okay. Now in that case, what happens here? We can say that E bend, and here we can say that is about the H bend. Okay, so this is about your E bend, which your waveguide is likewise as per the whatever the components we have. This is supposed to be rectangular waveguide. If it bends in this direction, we say that it is about the H band. If you bend toward this direction, likewise, okay, so we can say that likewise here. This is about the above side. In that case, we can say that is about the E bend. So H bend and E bend, it bends your electric field component. Here, magnetic field component, it bends your electric field side. Okay, E plane side. So that's why E plane bend, E bend or H bend there. You can say. That's about you. Where is the use of this particular bend? Whenever we are going to install any tower or anything else, in that case, we need this particular bend. Okay, so then we can consider that a waveguide corner. Waveguide bends are available. Waveguide bends are available for what degree? That's about the 30 degree, okay, 45 degree likewise. So that is about how much is the angle of that particular bend is there. So according to that, waveguide bends are available. Similarly, we will learn that waveguide corner. In a waveguide corners, what happen? Again, the same thing is there. So we have a electric field component there. Okay, this is about nothing but your waveguide now. And now we say that now this is about your waveguide. We can say that this is the portion here we have a corner text. Sorry. Okay, this is nothing but your waveguide opening. This is nothing but your waveguide. Here it is nothing but a corner, and that is about whatever the length we have. Okay, this is nothing but the length of that particular given corner. So we can say that, and due to this particular corner, what happened? We can find out whatever the various modes are. We can connect this particular corner for connecting the for the setup there. Okay, but we need to see that while bending the waveguide or while making the corner, there should be a small reflection to be there while bending. If their bend is a large, there will be a large reflection. Okay, so if the bend is a small, there is a large reflection. So we need to consider that radius, or we can say that radius is to be large for the given bend. Okay, similarly we can say that for the corner that particular portion will be more there. That's why there won't be any discontinuity occur. This is called as a E corner, or we can say that a E waveguide E corner. Now in a H corner, what happened? H field component is bent here. Okay. Now this is about your waveguide. Say that this is about your waveguide portion, and this is nothing but a corner here. In that case, this is about your A corner. So in that case, here it is about the H corner. Okay, this is called as a H corner. We can say that E corner or H corner. This is nothing but what we can say a H corner. In a E corner, your electric field component, okay, it is bent like field component corner in the E plane here, corner in H plane. That's why a H corner or a E corner. Now the use of this particular corner to just for the installation purpose, we require some particular component, okay, or some there is a change in a direction of your plane, or we can just connect the two components there. In that case, we require a corner or a bend there at that particular place. Generally, what happened? Tower is there, the waveguide is connecting. Okay, in that case, what happened? We say that generally we have a tower and that waveguide is there. It is to be connected to the antenna there. Likewise, we require some particular places that corner or a bend, or we just say that a junctions or coupler. Okay, so whenever we connect the two antennas there, so we require a coupler. So likewise, so we can consider the coupler, we can require the junction, or we can use the phase shifter according to whatever necessary. In a circulator, phase shifters are used. Okay, it will change the phase to that time or to another port, no output occurs. Similarly, we can find out a twist here. So in a twist, what happens? We have a waveguide here. Okay. Now in that case, waveguide we consider. Now that orientation of this particular waveguide will change. Orientation will change means what? We are expecting that it is to be a what? This is about your waveguide. Okay, we can say that. Draw first. That's about your waveguide here. This one we can say. Now this is nothing but a waveguide. Okay. Now in this case, what happened? If we are expecting that, okay, this is about a twist. This E plane. Okay. So likewise, we can say that supposed to be we have a rectangular waveguide. Likewise, suppose I am going to draw a rectangular waveguide here. This is about a rectangular waveguide. Now in that case, what happened in this rectangular waveguide? Twist means what? So is here output is same. Okay, this orientation for this particular field component is the same here. But when we change a twist means what? Instead of this one and this one output here, so it will be vertical now. Okay, supposed to be I wanted to make a twist for this particular waveguide. So what happened? Here we will get this type of output here. Okay, we are expecting. Okay, likewise. Likewise, we can say that it is nothing but a twist for our waveguide. Okay, so likewise. So this is about your twist. We are changing the orientation of a electric field component. Okay, twist means what? It is a changing the position, or you can say that orientation. It is about a 90-degree twist or a 45-degree twist available there. So you can use whichever the twist for your installation purpose or for your particular output. Okay, so we can specify any of the twists here. Okay, so that we can use. Next about a iris. Okay, in a iris, irises means what? It is nothing but, or we can say that somewhere some books they say that it is nothing but the same. It is nothing but a window. Okay, irises or a window. Irises means what? It is useful for the purpose of a matching. Okay, so that is useful for the purpose of a impedance matching. Impedance matching means what? In a transmission line, you people have learned that impedance matching done using a what? At the load we have to that match impedance is to be matched. So that's why before that load, at the place of lambda by 4 or lambda by 2, lambda by 8, you people have considered that there is a small section to be inserted. That can be a transformer, quarter wave transformer, or that can be of what is stub. Using a single stub or a double stub, you can match the impedance for the transmission line. But in the case of a waveguide, so it doesn't have a scope of what? We doesn't have a scope of what? A impedance matching. Just like a supposed to be, I'm just consider that in waveguide now. It's about a waveguide. So here we have a multiple component there. At the case when we connect, they, that load is not matched. What happened? The reflection occurs. So to avoid the reflection, so we need to consider one of the component is to be connected here, and that component means what? That is about a iris. We need to match the impedance. So means throughout your circuit in a transmission line, you people have a load here. Okay, that load is to be matched. So, but that load is a fixed. So in that case, we have to consider one more particular component. Either we have consider a transformer, cutter wave transformer, or we have to connect a stub there. Okay, at this particular line, we have to connect a stub. There will be a single stub or a double stub from this particular length of the from this load there. So now instead of this stub and everything, we can consider the irises. So irises means what? There is a small obstacle in a waveguide there. Small obstacle in waveguide means what? It just what happens? It produces a either impedance, capacitive impedance, or either a we can say that about a inductive impedance. We can say that when we place a iris inside a rectangular waveguide, suppose we have a rectangular waveguide likewise. Now in that case, we have to place okay iris if we place That this is about a rectangular waveguide. In this case, this is about your electric field component. This is about your magnetic field component. Okay. So now suppose if it does not look like a rectangle now. Okay. Now this is about a rectangle. Now this is the we can say that's about the electric field component, and this is about your magnetic field component. Okay. So if you remember that this one we can say that a magnetic field component, and we can say that this one is about your electric field component. Now, if we consider that a iris, okay, or we can say that a obstruction or one some particular device, okay, one obstacle is to be placed in a electric field or in a place in a magnetic field. Suppose I place that obstacle in this a magnetic field. Suppose I place an obstacle in a magnetic field. What happened? So what happened that iris is called as a inductive waveguide iris. Okay, it is called as a inductive wave. Okay, it is called as a inductive waveguide iris. If I place that obstacle in electric field, if I place that obstacle in electric field, then it is called as a capacitive one. Okay, so this is called as what? A capacitive waveguide iris. It is called as a capacitive waveguide iris. Means that iris is located either in what we can say that either in a transverse electric field or we can say that in a transverse magnetic field. And the size of the that particular obstacle is depending upon that whatever the impedance we are expecting. Okay, so whatever the impedance we are expecting. For a given particular condition, suppose we say that, okay, so if we consider that your iris is a place in the case of what, okay, so this is about you can say that's about a capacitive waveguide iris or inductive iris. It is placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so what we can say that's about it is to be placed in a magnetic field or it is to be placed in an electric field. So now this is about your magnetic field. Here we can place likewise. Okay, here we can say that's about the inductive field. We can say that's about a capacitive or inductive. You can say that this is about your waveguide, or you can say that the iris. Okay, so sorry, here we can say this one is the inductive one. This one we can say that's about a capacitive. That is about your iris when we place, because this is placed in a electric field, this is placed in a magnetic field. So that's why you can say that is about a capacitive waveguide iris or a inductive waveguide iris. Or we can say that in a given particular field, whatever the rectangular waveguide we have is about your rectangular waveguide. If you consider that the iris in the given portion of a waveguide, if we consider some particular obstacle there, okay, in that case, that is about the iris, but iris is only in a one particular field or one particular direction. That is called as asymmetrical iris. If you place that obstacle there in the both the side, likewise. So if we place that iris in both the side, we can say that's about the iris. Here we can say that it is about the symmetrical iris. Okay, this is about the asymmetrical one. This one is about a asymmetrical iris. Or we just consider that a waveguide. In a waveguide, we just put that obstacle there. Okay, we can just put that obstacle at the center, or we can put that obstacle at that any place there. Okay, so this way we can work out. Or if we put that obstacle from this particular top here, so then we can increase this length of this particular obstacle by rotating this one. Why we can increase or decrease the rotating length? Okay, means this is to be penetrating here inside the guide. So according to that, it offers the impedance either a capacitive one. Okay, supposed to be if we place that in a particular waveguide, if you put that obstacle here in this guide, likewise in this given field, then in that case it offers the inductive impedance. So how we are extending, how we are penetrating, okay, how we are penetrating this particular field component, okay, that particular obstacle there. So according to that, we can say that a That's about the iris. Or we can say that's about the waveguide post or a waveguide screw there. Okay. So all these names are same there. Okay. How we are putting the obstacle in the particular place there. So according to that, it will work. Okay. It will use as a impedance match. So how much will be the length according to that? Okay. Iris is to be used. If supposed to be load is a capacitor, we have to put the iris in inductive form so match load will be off. No standing off. So that's why we need to consider that waveguide iris, or you can say that waveguide post or a waveguide windows. Okay, so that is to be used for the impedance matching purpose in a waveguide. Now this is about your all about your micro component. One more component we'll see. That is about we can say that a match load. In a match load, what happens? This is about your rectangular waveguide. Generally a waveguide here. So inside that a small obstacle is there. And this small obstacle at the end of your waveguide, it is nothing but what? A resistive vane. Okay, resistive vane. And this resistive vane is what happens when your signal, okay, your electric, whatever the signals will reach to this particular obstacle. Okay, so what happens? So it will absorb all the power at this particular end. Okay, at this particular end is for standing wave occurs, and that's why it absorbs everything. So that is called as a match load. So resistive vane is there and it absorb the power at this particular end. So there won't be any reflection come from this particular match load there. Or you can say that's about a termination. Some obstacle or in some books they might have given in a different way here. Obstacle is likewise. Okay. So anyway, this is nothing but a obstacle. Okay. This is nothing but a obstacle and at this end and this is nothing but a match load. The resistive vane is there at the end and that resistive vane is used as a match load there. And that is about your model 2. So in a model 2 we have learned, okay, we have learned that in a model 2 is about the end of your model 2. We have learned that a rectangular waveguide, circular waveguide. Okay. We have learned that T mode, TM mode, whatever the power transmission there, what are the losses we have learned, excitation modes we have learned, micro cavities we have learned. Okay, that is micro passive component, that is junctions, that is magic T, E plane T, H plane T we have learned, coupler we have learned, circulator, okay, attenuator, attenuator we have made. Okay, so now one more is about a attenuator. In an attenuator, what happens? So this is about a simple waveguide we have. You can consider that waveguide now. Okay, so for this particular, okay, so this is about your waveguide, and in this waveguide, there is nothing but a waveguide. So now at this particular waveguide, at this particular center, one obstacle is there. One obstacle is there, and that obstacle is penetrating. There is a small groove is there, and through that small groove, that obstacle is penetrating. Or if you cut this section, how it looks like? It looks like just like okay, this is about your waveguide, and there is some obstacle. It looks like this obstacle. Now this obstacle, if it is a fixed one, so we'll get that fixed attenuation value. If it is a variable, we'll get that variable attenuation value. Now for a fixed value, we'll get the attenuation. Supposed to be variable, this we can insert this obstacle length. Okay, by moving the screw, we can increase that obstacle. And this is nothing but an obstacle. Means what happens? Whatever the signal propagating through it, because of that obstacle, it reduces the power level. So here we get that reduced power level. We'll get that a reduced power level because of that obstacle. Okay, so now this obstacle, that length, whether when we increase the depth of this particular obstacle there, so more the power level reduced. If that obstacle is a small length, that power level reduces as per the minimum there. More the depth, more the power level. Okay, so likewise, it will reduce the more the power level. So there are the types of attenuator. we can use a fixed type of attenuator, fixed site, or we can say that is about the variable attenuator. But in a microwave bench, we use a variable attenuator because at the end we are expecting that one particular power level. But if the power level is higher, so your other component may damage. To avoid it, attenuators are used to reduce the power level up to that particular extent. So that's why we can consider that a variable attenuator there. There are the fixed attenuator available 3 dB, okay, 6 dB, 9 dB. Okay, likewise, fixed variable attenuator available. Variable attenuator, it is depending upon that how much is the obstacle length. Okay, we can increase or decrease there. According to that, we'll get that a variable attenuation. So these are about all about your component. Okay, you can say that's about alternator. We have learned. Okay, we have learned phase shifter, bends, twist, corner, irises, windows, scattering matrices of all these particular junctions, E plenty, S plenty. Okay, and yes, directional couplers and all. So that is about your model 2, and we have completed everything from this particular model.